We got a top 15 showdown in College Station this weekend. Texas A&M 6-1 hosting LSU 6-1. These are the only two undefeated teams in the conference right now. Texas A&M favored, -2.5 as we sit here right now, 53.5 over under.
Man, this is a hell of a game. I'm so glad this is a hell of a game, too. That atmosphere in Kyle Field is going to be electric this weekend. LSU gets a chance to go on the road again and make another statement. Whoever wins this game has really, really put themselves into the driver's seat to have a chance to not only, if you go undefeated in conference play, you're going to play in the championship. But if you do drop one down the stretch, being able to still win enough tiebreakers to be in it. This could be one where when it comes down to it, there's a lot of similarities between LSU and A&M. They could have identical records, and it goes to the head-to-head tiebreaker to determine it. So all these games are massive. We know that. As far as what's going to happen on the field, when I look at this LSU team, they are playing as balanced as I've seen them. I think this game, I got a good idea who Nussmeier is going to be, right? I think we got enough sample size on him to feel good about him at home and on the road. He's going to make some mistakes, but he's going to get the ball out on time. He's been in big moments. He can make every throw, and he's made clutch ones. I'm interested to see what Connor Wegman we're going to get. That, to me, is going to define this game. Because I think A&M's good enough on the defensive side to give LSU problems in the run game and make them somewhat one-dimensional. But LSU will still find a way to score points because they're that athletic and that offensive line is still pretty damn good. But if the Connor Wegman that showed up against Missouri shows up at home, LSU's in a lot of trouble because that's the best version of Connor. That's the Connor Wegman we were talking about with David Pollock before the year we expected to see, which means he trusts that injury. I know last week against Mississippi State it wasn't pretty. The defense didn't look good. Said the same thing about Georgia against Mississippi State before they went over there and beat the hell out of Texas and put their best foot forward, which, make no mistake, I think both of these teams are going to put their best foot forward. But if I'm A&M and I'm on the defensive side of the ball and I'm Elko and them, I am heating LSU up the whole night. I am heating you up and heating you up and heating you up. You're not going to be able to run the RPO stuff because I'm going to be in the backfield, and I want to get Nussmeier off his back foot. I want to show him a lot of pressure and bring it. I want to show him a lot of pressure and bail. I want to keep him on his heels the whole game because the games where LSU has struggled or he's turned the ball over, it's been because of pressure in his face. Didn't get a ton of that last week against Arkansas, and it was smooth sailing. Run game work, play action game work, pass game work on all levels. If A&M can create havoc with pressure and then get there with 4, I think their offense is good enough to score enough against a newly balanced LSU team in defense, which Weeks is balling. I like A&M early. I'm not ready to make a pick yet, but which Connor Wegman is going to show up?
No pick yet?
No pick yet.
It's interesting you talk about Texas A&M heating up LSU because that's exactly how I feel about LSU going after Connor Wegman and getting to him. Feels like LSU right now is kind of reverse Alabama as the way that the season has gone. Started off ugly, you lose to USC, really looked terrible against South Carolina, right? One of the uglier wins that I've seen. Now the last couple of weeks really starting to put stuff together. I tell you, the win at Arkansas to me was as impressive as your home win against Ole Miss, just with all the circumstances, right? Not that those two teams are necessarily as good as each other on the rosters, but just given the circumstances. And then Texas A&M, we can say, well, the best team that you played, you lost to at Notre Dame. True, but it was the first week of the season, and I still think that defense is really good. Big shout out to Connor Wegman for bouncing back, and Mike Elko for having the guts to put him in and play him, even though the other kid, Marcel Reed, came in and played really well. Right now, I'm sort of, while Texas A&M will be at home, I think LSU is a little bit more of a balanced football team. Not only balanced from offense to defense in terms of strength, but balanced in run to pass. And Nussmeier, when he's on, man, he throws NFL balls.
He does. And
it's going to be tough to beat him.
He's one of the best anticipatory throwers out there. You just go back and watch the tape when the ball leaves his hand. But sometimes when you're facing a guy that was kind of born into a football family like Garrett Nussmeier is, if you go out there and try and overcomplicate things, you're probably not going to fool him. I don't think you beat him mentally. I think you beat him by throwing his timing off and physically, because the more complicated that A&M makes this defense and any changes that they make, which Elko might, he might not, the slower you're going to play. Sometimes the best addition is subtraction. I'm all for just trying to get there with 4 guys, and they may try that early and they may get there. But with this offensive line that LSU has, I think they're one of the few that's equipped enough to slow down just a base pass rush, 4-man pass rush from A&M. I think you heat this guy up early and often, and you beat him with simplicity and physicality. I don't think you want to get into the Pan's Labyrinth game.
Don't you think blitzing somebody is basically trying to trick them?
No.
Yep, you don't think so? Like, just bring a straight blitz. Like, that can get you in trouble with a veteran quarterback, right?
No, it can. It can, and I'm not saying you blitz every time or you blitz the same way. You should, and it's not making everything easy. But my whole point is, I don't think you overcomplicate this. If you're A&M's defense, I think you'd have a better shot going out there and just running base stuff against the guy than going out and trying to complicate things so much that it creates busts in the secondary and then hits big plays. But as far as disguising or tricking, yeah, you show pressure from one side and bring it from the other. You show it from one side and bring it from that side. But I would pressure him in big moments, because that's what we're really talking about. We're not talking about every down. We're talking about in crucial downs. In crucial downs, I would show a pressure look pre-snap almost every time against this guy.
Well, all we talked about with this Texas A&M team before the season started was how good they were in the front seven, how good they are in the box. This game will come down to, will LSU's offense good enough to push around A&M's front seven? And if you're A&M, trust me, the last thing you want to do is blitz Nussmeier. I think that will get you in trouble. If you can get to him or at least cause pressure or uncomfortability to him with bringing four, God, that's just a dream you want to live in. You want to stay there if you can do that. But no one seemed to be able to do that against LSU this year.
Yes, we have.
And I don't think you're going to be able to do that either. So, yeah, you can heat him up. You just see Nussmeier to get almost too anticipatory. That's where he somewhat gets in trouble. The run game from LSU has not been great. Obviously, this game is at Cal Field, which was ranked the hardest place to go play. That place is going to be absolutely electric. This is going to come down to, one, is Connor Wegman that guy? Right? You brought him in, you took him out, and he got hurt. You brought another kid in who did have success. Look, Wegman did not look good in that Mississippi State game. Even in that win, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but I wasn't impressed. You're about to play a guy on the other side who's experienced, who has weapons on the outside, and I like Cade at running back, but Wegman has to be the guy to go win you this game at home. I think your defense is going to cause some challenges for LSU on offense, but sooner or later, your offense and that quarterback is going to have to come win you this football game. The same way we talked about Tennessee, Alabama. Nico in the second half made the plays he had to make to go win the game. And sooner or later, Connor Wegman's going to have to do the same thing.
David, I know we got to move on, but quickly, I think there's a little hidden factoid in this game. Which quarterback, they're both not great runners, they're good runners. Which quarterback can extend drives on third down when the play breaks down by recognizing man coverage or recognizing green grass and realizing, hey, let me just run the 7 yards, get out of bounds, let's get the first down. In a game that's going to be decided on the margins like this one, that's going to be very few drives that separate them, which quarterback can extend the drive with his legs?
I would say that'd be Connor Wegman.
Yeah.
What team can run the football?
And what team can
turn around?
I think it may be a stalemate from a run game standpoint. I think both these defenses could stop the other one's run game pretty decently. Hey, appreciate you guys stopping by. As usual, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. If you do mind, why are you wasting your time?